It always gives us some goofy face no matter
Don't
what happens.
blink.
Don't blink, don't talk, don't do anything. Hey, for those of you that are watching the live stream, thank you very much for joining us. We're gonna get started with the regular podcast recording in just a moment. Wow, that is like the most plastic grin I think I've ever seen.
On me or you?
Me, I'm like, "Eek."
Oh, I'm not even look. When does it take the snapshot? Because
I
oh
know,
god,
I know. I was looking straight at it. It got you when you blinked or
it's
something.
like it looks like I'm checking my email. Looking over.
Checking out the email.
Dirt, dirt, dirt.
Okay, let's put that away. Put some of these other things away. Okay.
I got to tell you,
Uh,
I, as an experiment on my phone, I disabled, or not disabled, but I set Facebook and Facebook Messenger to
yes.
deep sleep, meaning that the background processes don't run. So to see the messages or anything, you have to open them up.
Mhm.
Facebook, I don't care. Messenger, about half and half because there's people that reach out. But doing that increased my battery life
Okay.
because they're constantly reaching out to the network. So I just as an experiment, I saw somebody mention it and I tried it. I mean, it was a significant amount. It was like went all of a sudden my battery was reaching into the next day.
Nice.
So I just got to remember to look at Messenger every once in a while, but I literally have to open it up to see things. So,
Well, that's kinda how I do it at work. I don't check Messenger, and I have all the alerts turned off
hmm,
because 'cause it'd
yeah.
drive you absolutely nuts.
Well, I don't give a crap about Facebook messages. Notifications.
Even
I
Teams, I don't care about those.
I have to. I got a
Why?
team. I
No,
have a
you don't
team.
have to. You don't have to.
I'm a
Craig, if
I'm
it
a
was in
manager. We're talking all the time on Teams.
no. No.
Yes.
Nobody is expected to be interrupt driven all the time. When you
Well, I
have to
mean,
focus, what do?
I
You
do set
shut those apps down or you turn off the notifications.
no. Well, I mean, I've got a calendar event that says focus time, and of course, I go all like I'm in a meeting, so I
Yeah.
don't get notifications then. But I mean, and we're talking all the time on sharing crap all the time. I'm making
Right, but
jokes
if
all the
somebody
time.
if you sent a message to somebody, would you automatically expect they give you an instant response, or could you
I'm
wait
not
15
saying
minutes or an
I expect
hour?
that of others. I know better.
Right, then nobody should be expecting it of you.
Hmm. Well, you
And
tell them.
because if you're always responsive, people are
Hmm.
gonna start wondering, do you actually do anything besides sit there and wait for messages?
Well, if you
How
don't
effective
respond, they'll
can
be
you
like, "Do
be
you
if
do
you're
anything?"
always interrupting? Right. What do you say you actually do for the
Yeah,
company?
we never
So
hear
if
from
you
you.
don't expect it of everybody else, why should they expect it of you?
Yeah,
Right?
I understand. No, I'm totally on. I'm on your side.
No, you're not because you're responding to messages. You feel this compulsion to respond to messages instantly. So you're always being interrupted and you're never being effective.
Productive, I think, is that what you mean?
No,
Either,
well,
both.
yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Anyway, meanwhile, we're still checking audio levels on this end.
No,
Has John joined us? A couple of people
yeah,
joined. John
he
Miller
has.
Jr. is there. There he is. There he is.
Don't
Oh,
say.
oh, yeah.
What did I
What?
say?
What did you say? What?
Crap.
You said, I don't know.
I didn't say anything else. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't cuss. I don't think. I'm pretty good about.
You said Craig again. That's a four-letter word.
Oh no, I'm pretty good about swearing zones. I don't swear around people and places I shouldn't. So I
I
do pretty
swear
good with it.
the more I drink, the more I swear.
Yeah, I swear I'll have another.
Somebody asked me at CreatorCon, they said, "What? Can I get you something to drink?" I said, "Oh no, no, no." Then the filter comes off, and I'm at
No,
work.
let
There were
me
a
tell
couple
you
that I let
something.
slip.
Yeah. Well, this last weekend, I ended up with um on Saturday. I ended up with a stomach virus. I started running a fever in the morning. I was like, "Oh crap, I'm getting COVID," and I was in the bed all day. Felt like garbage. It was terrible, and
Sorry to hear that.
I had, it was just like other people. I was like, I knew this is. I'm getting it. Sure enough, it started.
COVID generally doesn't hit your stomach, though.
No, but it is a symptom. I was like, okay, I didn't know. I was at my Mountain House, I didn't have our tests there. So,
I
but
gotta find an
now that it's
iPad.
over,
Yeah.
you ever, after you're done with it, like I don't have the fever's gone, everything's gone. I feel better today, but I eat something and my stomach still feels a little sensitive. It's like, what'd you put in there? What'd you put in there? Just a little gun shy. I don't know if it's me or really my stomach, but he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Hang on, I gotta grab an iPad.
All right, got to grab an iPad. Yeah, stomach virus is no fun. Apparently, oh no, it's not a swear word. But apparently, there's a bunch of stomach viruses coming around. I'm pretty good about washing my hands and stuff, but apparently I must have missed it. Maybe I touched a doorknob or something I should have.
Okay, now I gotta send power to this
Crap is
iPad.
not a swear. Actually, crap is a substitute swear word for which I'm not going
Carp.
to say.
It's a substitute swear word for carp.
It's like a stunt swear word.
A
You
st-
know, it's like
like when
instead
I
of the
oh,
actual thing going out.
I can make anything into profanity. It's like, ah, Christmas cookies.
Right.
Okay, just making
A
sure that the
stunt
soundboard is
swear
working with that.
word
A
when you want to be effective, but you don't want to offend.
proxy swear word.
Yeah. I'll be here all week. Hello, Mrs.
Cloverleaf.
Amasi.
Okay. This is a clear abuse of technology. She's sitting right out there. Where's my pre-show banner, Craig?
Oh yeah, hold on. I'm texting your wife. Hold on a second.
So for this keynote, there must have been like 40 people behind stage doing lighting and
Wait. Explain
cameras
everybody
and
where you're
video.
at. Maybe everybody doesn't know where you're at.
Well, maybe
Where
we
you
can
were at.
do that during the show, during the
Okay.
recording.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? I
Oh,
am
okay.
recording
Sure.
in 3. Wait, did we just have a terrible latency?
Probably not. It's probably just me.
Oh, okay. We have Craig latency. Let me make sure the SD card's in there.
All
I
right.
have 317 hours of recording time left.
It's not enough. Go get more.
Well, I got another 128 gig right here. I'll have a story for you in the Patreon show about that.
All right.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 674, A Formidable Foe. Okay, put the pre-show banner away.
Oh yeah, that's right. There you go.
Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. And if you're returning, welcome back. My name is Chuck Tomasi from Phoenix, Arizona. Not just anywhere in Arizona, because there's like a nowhere Arizona, but I'm not there. I'm not nowhere. I'm in
Is it?
Phoenix.
I got a picture of nowhere.
Yes, we got a picture of us both at nowhere.
That's right.
And that voice you hear is the one and only Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. I had a terrible Friday the 13th weekend.
I'm
You want to hear
sorry to
about
hear
it?
that. You were
You want to?
sick, but you got
Well, let me
better.
wait.
I got better.
It's more to it. I actually had 3 things go wrong.
Oh, wait.
So,
Okay, so you were sick.
wait a minute. Okay, so I got a virus, stomach virus on Saturday. Uh, Friday, I went to my mountain house. I got my Starlink stuff. Everything was ready to go.
Yes.
I routed the cable through. There was a hole in the floor for cable and the satellite that we currently
Now let's
have.
the mice in and out. Yep.
Yeah, no. So I routed the cable for the satellite dish out, got it round, went under my deck, got it all the way up to where I was going to mount the dish. I climbed up, mounted the little, it was a direct TV J pole mount.
Yep.
Put I had the satellite in my hand. I'm holding it because you got to put the cable in the bottom of it. I went to put it in the bottom of it, and mind you, this is taking me months trying to figure out where I'm gonna put it and all this stuff. I couldn't make it to the last mile about that much. What happened was not
Was
the
it a
cable was
half
too
an inch
short.
for all you listeners?
It was yeah, half an inch. It wasn't that the cable was too short. It was that somewhere along the line, the connector got slightly bent. probably when I was pushing it through the floor. I
Oops.
wasn't pressing on it hard, but it wouldn't fit. It's that tight of a, it's like a USB, almost like a
Yeah.
HDMI looking connector that they have. It would not fit the Starlink for me. So luckily,
We haven't
luckily
used
I
that in
did.
a
I
long
know.
time.
Well, luckily I did pre-order the longer cable, thinking I may need it, and it just
Yes.
shipped. So that worked out. So anyway, Starlink no go, virus, and then the power went out at my house, my home, not the mountain house, and the cat sitter couldn't come in because the power was out. And
Wait,
when
why
it came,
couldn't she come in?
well, I found out. I'll explain in a second. But anyway, I've got an electronic uh, deadbolt, however, with a code for her. However, I did find out. I did realize that it does work when the power's out because it's got batteries in it. So the actually deadbolt will actually work. But the
Okay.
problem. But here's the problem. I have a. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You know what a pie hole is?
Yes.
Okay. I have a pie hole set up at my house. Well, what happened was when the internet came up, the power came on, all the devices, all my Wise stuff and everything came up, but the Pi hole didn't boot properly. So DNS wasn't getting resolved. For all of you don't know, the Pi hole, the Pi hole, the Pi hole it
It's a
removes ads
Raspberry
and stuff
Pi
off the
that it's
internet.
like a proxy server. Yeah.
Yeah, it removes, well, it's a DNS proxy and it removes the ads from your internet, which works.
Theoretically.
It works really well. No, it works really
No.
well. Well, it works
It's
too well
sorta
because
it works pretty well. I wouldn't I
I haven't
tried
seen
it
it.
for like a day.
Hey, it works so well for me, I have to turn it off to watch Paramount Plus.
It
I
yeah,
mean, it
that's
works.
not what I would call working well, Craig.
Well, I mean, that's the problem. No, it filtered out those little interstitial ads. Anyway, so the Pi hole didn't boot, things getting resolved to DNS, and I'm walking around the house. Remember, I'm still heading for the virus. I'm still feverish. I'm like trying to sort out what the hell's wrong with my network. And I realize, oh, it's the pie hole. And then I go to try and change my DNS. I can't do it because the DNS is down. And anyway, I finally worked it out. So yes. So anyway, I had three things going on. It was a Friday the 13th weekend for sure.
They say the troubles come in 3 and you got them all at once.
But guess what? It's Monday and things are looking up. Right?
Sure. We'll call that.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the 13th.
I'm glad you're feeling better. This people is why I carry a paper boarding pass. Call me old fashioned, but the batteries can't die on it and I can still get on the plane.
That's true. That's true.
There are times when I'm not going to risk it because I've either been that person or I've
Yeah.
seen that person.
I've I usually try and carry one. I'll use the electronic one if I can, but yeah, if I have to pull it out, I will. The pass.
All right, the pass. Give a hard pass to that. We
uh,
have some feedback. Should we go into that? We'll get
yes.
back to my story about the conference in a little bit.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy.
Mailman, mail today.
Okay.
Our question of the week is, what 100% fact is the hardest to believe? And John Miller Jr. says, if you twist an owl's head 1080 degrees to the right, it pops right off. Disclaimer, my legal team advised me to tell people not to attempt this to owls or any animal. BT dubs. Ay, ay,
Let's see. What do you find hard to believe?
ay. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. And at some point, you won't be able to see anything in the sky because it'll all be so spread out. But I'm
I've
not sure
always
what comes first. Do all the stars sort of extinguish by then? Because, they're burning fuel and they have a fixed life. There's a lot of astronomical things that are just hard to believe.
I find it hard to believe a human could swim through a blue whale's veins.
Depends with where. I mean, closer to the heart, they're big. Where did you
Yeah,
hear that?
it's around. I've been rolling around in this brain of mine for years.
It's on the internet. Hmm.
So am
Okay.
I.
Gary Lindros says trees predate fire. Wait. That's a
Well,
chicken
it,
and an egg scenario to
well,
me.
I mean, if you think about it, you have a tree. Okay,
Yes.
then you have fuel for fire.
No. Because I'm sure there were grasses and ferns and other things that burned
Well,
before trees. It depends on what you call an
well,
official tree.
I would say,
But
that's probably. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm not
nah,
unless somebody knows.
lightning had to strike
That's what,
something to burn it.
right. I was going to say lightning has to strike something, and
I
sure
mean,
enough, there was
if
some
it
dead
strikes
grass laying around.
right, if it strikes the rocks, they're not going to burn. What?
Are they magnesium rocks?
Magnesium rock. Magnesium wasn't invented back then. And we hadn't quite gotten enough stuff in the ground to compress and make oil and coal, so that couldn't have burned.
There you go. Oh,
It's hurting my brain. Gary, you're giving me hurdy brain on this one.
Look at there. A lightsaber has fewer calories.
Wow. John, you broke Craig with that one. That's a good one. So at this conference, they have these people in the church that say, ask me, and you're supposed to get like directions and whatnot. I said, can we ask you any question? The guy says, yes. I said, why does Harry Potter hate Gandalf so much?
Right. It's funny. Oh boy.
Why does a lightsaber have fewer calories than a regular saber? All right, that was it. That's all we got. Is those two answers. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
what? What?
What? The object
entered black holes.
Objects enter black holes.
Suck.
Okay, let's continue.
Spaghettification. Look it up, kids. It's a good thing. Now, can we go on? We're going to jump right into the history. On this day in history for May 18th, 2022, this is the 138th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 227 days remaining in 2022. It was on this date in 1499 that Alonso de Ojeda set sail from Cadiz on his voyage to what is now Venezuela.
And it was also on that date in 1953 that Jackie Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier with the warp engine.
Wait a minute. Yeah. How many Cochrans does it take to bury? Anyway. Apollo 10 was launched on this date in 1969. Oh, so close to Apollo 11 in July. Wow. They really were backing them up, weren't they?
Yeah, like Starlink today, or SpaceX rather. On May 18th, 1974, under Project Smiling Buddha, India successfully detonated its first nuclear weapon, becoming the sixth nation to do so.
I'm sure Buddha was smiling.
Yeah.
Also on May 18th, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted in Washington, United States, killing 57 people and causing $3 billion in damage. Oh, that doesn't seem like that long ago, does it?
No, I remember
42 years ago.
I remember that in school, seeing it happen. It kind of scared me,
I saw it 9 years later, and it still looked like a moonscape down there. I was flying out on an airplane.
You went, okay.
Yeah.
17 years ago today, a second photo from the Hubble Space Telescope confirmed that Pluto has two additional moons, Nix and Hydra.
Happy birthday goes out of this date, too.
They promptly joined the MCU.
Hail Hydra. Yeah. Hail Nix. Doesn't work. Stevie Nicks. I don't know. Persian mathematician, astronomer, and poet Omar Khayyam, born on this date in 1048.
And born May 18th, 1711, Ragusian physicist, astronomer, and mathematician Roger Joseph Boscovich.
Boscovich. English engineer, mathematician, and physicist Oliver Heaviside. He was a little on the heavy side, but don't say anything. He was born in the state in 1850.
And Thomas Migley Jr., American chemist and engineer, was born on that same date in 1889.
What other podcast celebrates chemists and engineers? Only
That's right.
Technorama. Here's another one for you. American biochemist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate Vincent Duvigneau, born on this date in 1901.
And born May 18th, 1912, American singer and television host Perry Como.
I think I have one of his albums up in the
You
closet.
probably do.
Don Martin, American cartoonist, was born on the same date in 1931.
I loved his work in Mad Magazine. And
Yes,
also born in that.
he's the guy who had like he did the ones with the long faces, like the guys.
Yeah, they
with
all
the really
had
long
the
cheeks.
real dainty looking with a pinky out. Yeah.
Or long goofy feet.
He was an inspiration of mine for a long time, the way I drew some of my cartoons. Also born on that same date in 1941, Scottish astronomer, physicist, and academic Malcolm Longear. Longear.
I thought it said long hair. We have
Yeah,
a heavy
long-
side and a long hair.
I missed the H in there. Longear.
Also turning 52 today is American actress, producer, and screenwriter. Tina Fey is 52. Oh my gosh, we're getting old.
She is. It's her birthday. Also born on that same date in 1979, Swedish video game designer, co-designed Minecraft, Jens Bergensten.
Jens.
Yeah.
Jens. It's Swedish.
Jens.
Listener birthdays. We're going to do listener birthdays for this week and until we get back, because we're going to be out for a couple of weeks.
It's a big party.
May 22nd is Tim Elliott. May 23rd is Chris Zeal, host and producer of the AVS cast and 24 Under Review. Eli Yukelzon on the 26th. May 27th is Tanya from Dancing with Elephants, or formerly from Dancing with Elephants.
Yeah.
Chris Martins, host of the Jesus Geeks Zine Intro and producer of On the Edge of Darkness. I don't know if any of those are still in production, but happy birthday to you, Chris, on the 28th. May 30th, Petri Lopia. May 31st, Troy Dunleavy. Then we get into June, where we have birthdays like June 1st, Selganor, Anthony Gartner on June 2nd. 2 birthdays on the 4th. The late, great Leo Schrauen. Happy birthday to him. Tara Parkman, also on the 4th. Adam Larson on the 6th. And rounding out our birthday list, also on June 6th, Grandma Grace, born in 1921. Wow, she'd be 101 today.
Yeah, she wouldn't. Yes, right.
Happy 101 to you, Grandma Grace. If you're still out there listening, if you're not listening, wake up.
Somebody shake her in the. Never
Don't go there. Don't.
mind. No.
That's the way it was on this day in history for May 18th, 2022. I think we're done.
Yes.
No.
Why not?
If you'd like to get on the
Oh.
birthday calendar, put up that link, Craig. We're going to tell them
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. You can go over to chuckchat.com/birthday. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. Hopefully before you turn 101, you'll get your name on there. chuckchat.com/birthday. We'd love to hear from you. All righty. Birthday banner away. Let's get into some news.
Good news, everyone!
You
Hey,
know, you
by the
sent me
way-
that video clip.
Well, oh yeah, yeah.
Send
I'll
me
go
that
ahead and
video
talk about
clip. And it was like now I've got 15 of them here. Oh no,
Yeah.
that's a small slice of the cake.
Yeah.
So
It was like 4
just for
minutes
fun,
worth. It was-
Just and they put in some of the endings. You know how we have the Fancy Men one. They don't have the whole Fancy Men one, but they put
Yeah.
in some others. And I downloaded the WAV file. I think one of the things I do on my way to Sydney on Friday is going to edit
Split 'em
that
up.
thing up and see what I'm missing, because there's got to be at least another 15 of them in there. Anyway,
Oh,
you
yeah.
were about to say,
I was going to say, you know, there's another 100% fact that I find hard to believe.
what's that?
That's, you know, Dick Van Dyke actually faked his accent. You know,
Which accent? In Mary Poppins?
yeah, Mary Poppins.
That was a terrible accent. That was a
It's hard to believe he
terrible
actually faked it.
Oh, yeah, and Benedict Cumberbatch fakes it. He does an American accent for Doctor Strange, but we
Yeah,
won't go there.
that's
He doesn't need to. I don't know why they made him. There's nothing that
I
says
don't.
Doctor Strange isn't it
Well,
has to be an American.
is an American in the comics.
Doesn't have to be.
Well, is
And
he not?
Jean-Luc Picard is French, but he speaks with a British accent, but we think we
Yeah, but
figured that one out.
we know that. We know why.
Well, because his family went to England for a while in World War II 400 years ago.
And
Do
he
you hear
finally
me
returned.
speaking with an Italian accent? And I'm only 2 generations removed.
Well, do you hear me speaking with a Southern accent? And I'm still here.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard, Craig.
Oh
I
no,
tell
the show's still young.
people, I just got done with a really fun conference.
You know what? I
So,
was ready to go to
I'm
bed a little bit
I'm
ago.
I'm
Now you're seeing
still in
why.
I'm still in a high voltage mood from that conference last week. Let's
Yeah.
we were doing some news, weren't we?
Oh wait, you were going to talk
We
about the conference. So talk about that a little bit. So what were
All
you
right,
doing?
we may have to cut some stories for this.
That's all right. Just
Okay.
they're not here for the stories anyway.
So every year our company has a big conference called Knowledge.
Mhm.
And traditionally, up until 2019, it was one event. Las Vegas, Orlando, we've had in New
Big
Orleans, we've
tentpole
had in
event.
San
A
Francisco.
lot of people there.
It's a big event, and every year it's grown. So, for example, when I went as a customer in 2010, there were about 500 attendees. In 2019, it was like 22,000. I mean, it's grown fast and
Yes.
it's grown
Mhm.
big. Well, obviously, COVID times happened and we pivoted to digital in 20 and 21. This year, we decided, hey, why not have some fun and do both digital and in person? And instead of just doing regular one big event in person, let's do 4. And to make it even more fun, let's do a couple at the same time. So last week was New York City and The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. And I don't know
Mhm.
too many cities that start with the.
I know. I
The
thought I
Hague is
always get that. It's kind of strange, but
yeah.
yeah.
It sounds more like a building than a place.
Well,
But
now just
well,
saying Hague doesn't sound right. So
technically in Dutch it's Den Haag. But anyway, we're
right.
just translating it to The Hague. And so some of our people got to go to Europe, some of our people got to go to New York, some people got to stay home, like Craig. We're
Yeah.
not
There wasn't any for me to
we're
go.
not casting any judgments here.
Hey,
W-
I did my work.
I got to go to New York, and I was also selected based on the digital experiences from 20 and 21.
Mhm.
That I hosted those digital events right here in my house, and we did a lot of recordings, and we patched them all together and made a keynote and blah blah blah. So I was the digital host, and that was a nice stepping stone to becoming the MC/host of one of our keynotes. We had a keynote on Wednesday morning, and that's kind of where the CEO and the important people get up and tell all about the strategy. Then day 2, this is a 2-day event, Wednesday and Thursday.
Mhm.
Day 2, we had our CreatorCon keynote, which is for our developers. And I was the host, but I did not put my name on the agenda purposely. I wanted it to be about the people that were talking and doing the demonstrating. So I got up and did a
Okay.
3-minute opener, a little monologue, Johnny
Mhm.
Carson or Jay Leno style for those that are a little younger. Or who's the host now? Jimmy Kimmel. Sorry.
Oh, Jim. Yeah.
I'm like 2 generations removed from whoever's hosting.
Oh, Jimmy
Tells you how-
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Too
Wrong
many
Jimmy.
Jimmys on tonight.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Jimmy
And
Johnson.
so I did a little 3-minute monologue and
Mhm.
set the tone for what's to come. The theme was developers are the heroes. And then
Oh.
I brought out our CTO and executive vice president of DevOps, and we had about a 6 or 7-minute conversation about what was it like in the early days, and we showed some slides and behind us pictures, and I got to control the clicker. And this was big time stuff. This is big time stuff. We're on a big stage with props and trees and 3 screens that are like ginormous behind us and 2 that are off to the side so people could see our faces on those. They call that iMag, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you're in the way back and you can't see who's on stage, you can still see who's on stage. There were multiple camera angles. There had to be at least 30, maybe 40 people behind stage doing cameras and sound and lighting and people direction. Now, Chuck, stand here until I'm ready to let you go, but then you're going to go over here and I'll go get Gabby. And it's like,
Chuck to Mark II. Chuck to Mark II.
And, the guys with the headset on that are talking to themselves going,
Yeah.
"Okay, ready on cue?"
Yeah. Right.
So theoretically, all I had to do is remember my lines, but it was a good time. So I talked to Pat Casey, and then we stepped off stage. Well, we did a fun little video, and then we stepped off stage. Marcus, our VP, came on and did a little monologue, and then a couple of demos. And while the demos were happening, these are recorded demos, but they're click-through demos. It's not just like a video's running, so the speaker has
Mhm.
control of the pace. And I was behind stage, uh, clicking on a separate computer as a fallback. I had to be in sync with what they were doing in case their laptop died in the middle of the demo. They would just go flip over to Chuck's computer.
Yeah.
So we had rehearsed this a couple times on Tuesday and Wednesday. The uh, the so Marcus was up there in rehearsal, and he was trying to remember some of the features of one of our new capabilities. He goes, "Look, you got dependent choice lists with this thing. You've got UI policies." And he kept asking me during rehearsal, "What's that other one, Chuck?" And I said, "Reference qualifiers." So we kind of made a meme out of this. He gets to
Mhm.
that point in the presentation, and you hear he says, "We got dependent choice lists, we've got UI policies, and what's that other one, Chuck?" And I am behind the curtain at this point, and I yell out, "Reference qualifiers!" And everybody
Right.
laughs, right?
Right.
Then he brings up Chris Haas, who does his click-through demo. Well, I'm about 30 feet away doing my click-through, but fortunately, Chris pauses. He says, "Now look at this. This is a new form builder. It gives you all kinds of capabilities like UI policies and dependent choice lists and what's that other one?" And I gotta hoof it to get close
Oh,
enough so they
no.
can hear me. Right in the middle of this
Oh,
demo that I'm doing and I go, "Reference qualifiers," and then I run back to my station and
yeah.
keep going with the
To
demo,
continue.
and everybody busted out laughing. It was a good gag that we just kinda came up at the last minute, and they loved it. In fact, people were even I have one hashtag on LinkedIn that says,
Hey,
"Reference qualifier."
hey, too bad you did. Maybe you did at some point when you're on stage. You say, uh, what was that last one?" And everybody in the audience would say reference qualifiers.
Oh,
That
should have
would,
done that. Instead, I
yeah.
brought it up one more time in
See,
my closing.
that's why you keep me
Yeah.
around. I'm an idea guy.
See? Yeah, you're the comic relief.
What? Huh?
If you had been there no, we wanted to we kinda wanted that would have been a good one. We didn't wanna get too goofy in there
Right. I
because
know.
during, Marcus actually did an improv, and, Chris was doing his demo, and it was in 3 parts, and he goes, "So, you know, you gonna show that to me?" He goes, "Yeah, good way to tee it up, Marcus. I've got this demo right here." He says, "Now I know this is a simple use case." And Marcus says, "Yeah, that's because they only give us like 5 minutes to do these demos."
Yeah. Right.
He just shatters that brick wall. Right?
Well, I mean,
Um,
yeah.
so they got done with their demos, everything went well. I go back up on stage and I bring out one of our developer MVPs, and we got a lot of good feedback about this because it's not just executives talking about software stuff. We actually brought one of their own, a real person, if you will, up on stage, not even a ServiceNow employee,
Hmm.
and talk to them about how talk to her about how ServiceNow transformed her life. Great discussion. Gave him a send off. We did it all in like 50 minutes, I think it was.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
I I I wish I could go back in time and do a stronger ending because as soon as I stepped off stage, I went, "That wasn't the ending I was hoping for, and I know exactly what I can do to make it better next time." So,
Wait,
all
everybody,
yeah,
get
great.
back up here for a second.
Yeah, everybody sit down. I'm gonna do that last part again,
Yeah.
and this time you gotta laugh.
Right.
The
Reference
so it went
qualifiers.
well. I mean, my boss said it was good. I got now, our CEO, Bill McDermott,
Mhm.
high energy guy, right?
Yes.
Our CIO, our chief, not information officer, our chief innovation officer, Dave
Hmm.
Wright, was sitting right in
Right.
the front row with my boss, his boss, and a whole bunch of other people. I could only see people in the first row. The lighting just kind of shot everybody.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was another point where I was in my opener and I said, I was doing the kind of the poll. How many people is this your first conference? Raise your hand and the house lights come up, blah, blah, blah. And I said, how many people have started their developer career since our last in-person event in Knowledge 19? And I go like this. I say, I'm looking in the audience for my son-in-law, Grantis. I know you're out there. I called
Yeah.
him out. he knew it was
Oh,
coming, so it was kind of fun.
right. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was fun. So, I wanted people to know my son-in-law was there, and I wanted to see his look on his face when people say, "Who is your father-in-law?" Because of,
Yeah.
my
Stand up and
ServiceNow
take a
celebrity
bow,
status.
Grantis.
Right. I I it was so tempting to go off script, but we are so on the clock
Right.
that, you gotta keep it tight.
And see, that's
E
why I stayed
every
at home.
rehearsal we did was over.
Yeah. That's why I stayed at home.
So that was the keynote, and let's see, that was actually Thursday morning. So my Tuesday was setup day.
Mhm.
Wednesday, I was still setting up, so I missed the main keynote with the CIO and everybody. Um, and Wednesday morning, I did a session called Build with Chuck Lives, where I build an application. This is not click through demo. This is actually build. Anything
Yeah.
and anything could go wrong. Had we had space for maybe 50 people. I swear there was well over 150 people in this space. It was packed, but it
Really?
was it was well received. It was a good time. Then Wednesday afternoon, we kind of went into the stage area to do rehearsal. Came back and had a karaoke party. And boy, howdy, was that fun.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
what that karaoke app was built for.
Yeah.
And a few hours earlier, Earl was running his karaoke party in The Hague. So I'm starting
Oh,
to see
wait.
social
So
media
you
pictures in the afternoon.
Oh, so you got to check on scale, how this thing scaled.
I mean, it wasn't much bigger than our DragonCon party, honestly. We had about
Okay.
30, 40 people in the party.
Yeah.
We didn't have as much time as I would have liked. First night, we only had like an hour and a half, and I was supposed to get 2. And even that felt a little short. So we're already working on ideas on how to improve this, not just in the future, but like next week, I'm going to Sydney. So we're
That's
going to
right.
try doing something a little different. Uh,
Yes.
eh,
I see your
we,
name all over some labs I've got set
we
up
were
to.
also supposed to be, um,
Mhm.
we were also supposed to be doing a book signing. We wrote Low Code Apps for Dummies, a little
Oh,
thin,
right.
marketing pamphlet. Didn't come in time. They shipped them
Oh,
on Friday. Uh,
come on.
No, wait, they shipped them, like, on Wednesday while we're out there. It was an internal foobar with accounting that kinda caused some serious delays. I do have them, and a whole bunch are going with me to see Sydney because we can't ship them in time,
Yeah.
but that's okay. So we said, "Hey, switch the agenda. We're gonna have a second karaoke party on Thursday." So
Right.
Thursday was just like once the keynote was over, it was like a weight was lifted, and I was just on fire. Everything was fun. We did Jeopardy twice. We did, and that's always fun because you were part of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was fun.
There were 2 speaker sessions where other people were presenting for half-hour sessions, and then, um, what did we do? We had, what I called collaborative lessons learned. That was a retitle. Originally, we called them war stories, where
Mhm.
we were on a conference call while we were building up to this. We had an open office hours conference call for the speakers, and they just started telling these stories. You're going, wow, yeah, this is how I brought my instance down. Or here's a time when I made an infinite loop, and everybody's going, ugh. And I said, Jason, we
Oh,
have
I got some
content here.
stories.
Put that in the content catalog.
Yeah.
So once I warmed up the audience to what we were doing and I gave them a story of my own, they kind of go, "Oh, I get it." And it was open
Mhm.
mic night for the next hour. And it worked
Yeah.
really, really well. Um, Earl was doing the same thing in The Hague a few hours earlier. So we compared notes this morning on how that went
Okay.
and ways we can improve that for the next round next week. We did that. We did a swap fest. Now, if you've been to a conference or maybe a party or something, when you go to the Olympics and people are swapping pins, that's
Huh.
that's a common
They did that
thing.
in the Scouts. They did trade
Yeah,
when you go to place different events, you can trade
it
the
it
patches
was meant
and
to
get
be a networking event. So,
Mhm.
one girl made 3D printed little donuts with a bite out of them, kind of look
Oh,
like our
nice.
company Umoji.
Mhm.
I brought some old lanyards. I brought some of the T-shirts that we had that are out of brand. Marketing, field marketing brought umbrellas. I brought some stickers. Just stuff to get people around and go. And it was like seagulls on a
Wait,
garbage
Chuck,
pile. It
here
was
was your
great.
chance to empty all the crap out of your office.
Yeah, pretty much.
All come up with a big box and just
I only had so much suitcase space.
This is a 1541 hard drive. I don't know
Yeah.
if
Here's some old Apple II floppies. Deal with them. Yeah. The
Oh, well.
it worked out really well, and then we went and
Mhm.
had our other karaoke party. I'm missing something in there, and I don't remember what it was, but it was a lot of fun. And, then my boss took us out for dinner afterwards, and Lisa and Grantis, my son-in-law and daughter, were with us a lot of the time, so they got some socializing time, and he's part of the ecosystem, he's a ServiceNow developer,
Mhm.
she's not, but she was such a good sport about it. I mean, she's socializing with people and lots of
Mhm.
pictures. We got they did some sightseeing, so they stayed an extra
Oh.
day, came back Sunday,
Mhm.
actually stayed 2 extra days, came back Sunday, so they got to go to Central Park and walk to the, um,
Yeah.
uh,
See, I've done
Twin
that. I mean,
Twin
I went
Towers Memorial.
I went
Yeah, it
I
was
did the same thing. I went to New York, an extra day for an extra day, and, when I went up there a while back,
it
and
was
I
it was
saw
it
some
was a lot
stuff.
of fun. They were my roommates, so they didn't their company didn't have to pay,
Mhm.
for lodging, and, you know, we, uh, we had dinner with his boss, who's a good friend of ours as well.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of fun. I asked my boss this morning, I said, "What can I do better when we get to Sydney?" He said, "I can't think of anything, but make sure you get some rest. You were just go, go, go." Every time I walked by that developer
Yeah.
area on
Mhm.
Thursday, it was just energy, go. I said, "Well, I wanna make sure people were having a good time, that they were
Well,
entertained
even when
and
we go to
educated."
Dragon Con, we
Yes,
take
same kinda
usually take
thing.
a nap during the day sometime.
No, not this time. I said,
No.
"Those people are my fuel. They're keeping me going during the day." So, when you see me standing at the podium getting ready for the next presentation and I'm dancing away to the music, yeah, that gets me pumped. I said, "Now, after dinner, we were walking back to the hotel and he said, 'You know what? Let's do a pub crawl.'" And it was like 10 o'clock. I said, "I'm out." That was that was it for me. I didn't even have any I think I had like 1 beer that whole week. That was, yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was educational. It was a lot of hard work building up to it, but it was very, very rewarding. I wish we could do the keynote again because it was a lot of effort that was sunk into that one event. Are there a lot of things that we can improve? Yes. I have like 3 pages of notes, some of which
Mhm.
include your area of expertise, the cloud lab stuff,
Oh,
both
yeah.
both positive and things to take a look at. So, wanted to get this out of my head before we go on to Sydney, and
Mhm.
and
Alright.
it's lost. So, it was great to be back in person, kinda like last year at Dragon Con when we were there, like, "Yes!" Smaller crowd. Again, we didn't have 22,000 people in New
Yeah.
York. We
Oh, I
had,
know. Small crowd. Yep.
a few thousand, and the
Mhm.
Hague was, about the same size. Vegas next week is supposed to be much bigger, but I'm going to Sydney, which will be much smaller. So we'll see. Registration is still
Alright.
climbing.
Sydney's a great
Yeah.
place to go.
It's almost like a more intimate ecosystem.
Mm.
And true to form, every year there's a guy named Drew. I met him at Knowledge 10, and I have seen him every year. We have this strange micro relationship where we only meet at Knowledge. We
Yeah.
don't have much of a conversation. We get a picture, and then we go back to our regular lives. And it's really weird.
Hey,
But
we've done that at Dragon Con. We know a couple
it's a
people we
it's
get pictures
right.
with, and then
You never
I
see
may
him
see
again.
him on
Not
Facebook.
I
I may see him
no,
on
I don't
Facebook or
even see
something.
this guy on Facebook
Oh,
or
really?
LinkedIn or
Yeah.
nothing. I don't know where he lives. I don't know the first I barely remember his last name.
I'm thinking of the guy Rich who, we met at Dragon Con, got a
Oh,
picture
Rich
'cause
Kurziak, yeah.
yes, and he
Well, you
looks
still
like,
see him on Facebook.
he cosplays as uh, Adama
Command
from
yeah,
Battlestar
Dom
Galactica.
when he shaves. He's gotta shave to get that
Yeah,
look,
that's right.
but
He's got
normally he
shit.
wears a beard. Okay.
Hey,
We
alright,
have,
so you know what?
yeah.
Skip go down to remember when. Just do a
Go down
couple
and
of those.
remember when. Alright, we can do that. Where's the green button? There it is. There we go. In the remember when section, we have why Goodyear illuminated tires were way ahead of their time. They were
I have
so
never
far.
seen these.
I have not either. This is from thedrive.com, and
Mhm.
there's some wonderful stuff in here. There is a technology, what do they call it? Where they mixed in some chemicals to the regular tires. They called it, oh, it was in here. Neptha, the heck was that called? Nia,
Neothane.
neophane. That's it. It's like a urethane kind
It's a
of thing.
polyurethane
But
compound called neothane.
and it made the tires translucent so they could put lights inside the tires. I so want to see this come back.
Yeah,
I think
you
with
know what?
LED technology, you could do
With
this.
I'm surprised for all the mods that I've seen on cars, and people
Nobody's done
try to
this.
outdo everybody else, that we haven't seen this.
Now, there's an
Pretty
article a
surprised.
little further down about the Golden Sahara 2 car.
Yes.
What a story. I mean, the tires in and of themselves were amazing, but you go down further in this article that we got on the show notes at episode 674. The Golden, I've never heard of this car before. The Golden Sahara 2, it was a concept car. Now, the Golden Sahara 1 was in production, but this one was the next generation. Similar body style. Now, back in like 1958 when they built it, it was $75,000. And there's a TV host who's interviewing it. Very advanced car. I mean, you could make it move with a remote control.
Yeah.
It had a precursor. It was using ultrasonic sound waves to detect distance. It had like two little sensors below the headlights that use sound waves to detect distance, and if something was too close, it would apply the brakes automatically. Sound
That's pretty
familiar?
awesome. Yeah. Tesla.
Cars are just getting that kind of stuff
Well,
back
yeah,
again.
actually all of them are pretty
Now,
much.
it had some stuff that was clearly set in the time, like there's a mini bar in the back with ashtrays and real white mink fur
And a
floor
3-person
mats.
barbecue. Yeah.
There were like mink floor mats. Like, yeah, PETA will love that.
Well, some things age like milk.
It had a TV with rabbit ears, but it had
Yeah.
a TV and it had a phone, but I'm not sure how the phone worked
What
because they didn't have cell service back then.
hey, watch it. What year was that?
They said
In the
it was
60s?
built. The prototype was like 1958, 1959. Yeah,
They did have some kind of not cell service as you know today, but there was some mobile phone service, but it was very hard. It was like uh I'm trying to think. It's a lot different than it was back today. But
it's a
anyway,
behemoth of a car. If you
hey,
thought like the old Cadillacs were big, this is on that scale. The cool thing is,
I,
this
yeah,
this thing went into like basically a barn and stayed there. And when they found it, part of the body was being held together with duct tape. It was in really sorry shape.
right.
So they bought it at auction. This very well-known car restoring place. What was it called? Claremont Collections.
Hmm.
And they own things like the Batmobile, right? Very one of a kind, unique things. And this clearly sits in that state. Uh, they bought it for about $350,000, $350,000 at auction at Meekum and restored it back to its original glory. This and to see this in a video in color with the close-ups. Now, the first video was obviously black and white only because it was on a television show way back when. You couldn't really see the detail.
Right.
Holy Christmas. This
Yeah, you
thing
gotta see these
is
pictures.
glorious.
Yeah, you got to see these pictures. I loved it when they speaking of the black and white video when they're unveiling it on the show. I Got a Secret, and the guy
Yes,
and the guy. It's funny listening to them. Oh, he's pulling it out with a he didn't call it a remote control. He called it something, and he's got to stay close to the car. You know,
because it had a range. It had a very close range.
because it had a certain range.
And he gets down behind the front wheel well, and he goes, "This looks like some kind of gold-plated decorum." And he says,
Yeah,
"Yes, it's gold-plated decorum."
that's right. That's right. But what's interesting is though the pictures, the tires, they look like they're it's like when you see brakes that are turning too hot, like red hot, that's what the tires
Yes,
look like.
yes. And in some of the black and white pictures, it looks like those infrared images, like night vision, where you see the heat camera. Like, wow, those
Mhm.
tires have been running because 'cause they're warm. That's kinda what it looks like is yeah, your
Well,
tires
you
are
can use
overheating.
LEDs nowadays.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is put some LEDs in there. You could really bling these things out with patterns and
Hey,
stuff. Like,
yeah, have them. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm
uh-huh,
gonna do that to
doesn't
my
your mind
car.
yeah, your mind starts to race. So it wasn't just about the tires. I really love that Golden Sahara story. It's not exactly my taste in cars. It's big.
Oh,
It's kinda ugly by today's standards, but
it's only my taste because I like that futuristic retro feel
yeah,
to these
yeah.
cars. They're fantastic.
Yeah. There's also another article about reviving a 1974 Sinclair scientific calculator. Now, I don't know if I use this exact calculator, but it's one of those kind that had big buttons,
Hey, the buttons were
LEDs,
translucent and they had lights behind them, and they would like. No, I'm sorry.
8 batteries, and it had about 16 buttons on it, plus,
Yeah,
minus, times, and divide, and that was about it.
yeah.
Clear. There was no memory. There wasn't even like a memory key on it. Probably sold for about $800 too. Well, this guy bought one and he kind of wrote a short story about it. But in the comments, I found it interesting.
Mhm.
Hackaday.io, which is the articles from hackaday.com. Hackaday.io. There are some projects if you want to make your own calculator like this. The guy says, why didn't you just use an Arduino instead of looking for all
Yeah,
these old obsolete parts? You can
yeah.
you can make one of these out of an Arduino. I thought, oh, now that's got me tempted because they show a picture of the Nano and I'm like, I got Nano sitting in my tackle box.
You know,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you these old calculators, the display, the they're it's not liquid crystal. The
LEDs.
yeah, the little LEDs.
Yeah.
The way those looked fascinated me when I was a kid. Even
They
on
were
like the
little.
speak and
They were like in the way back and they kind of had this glass tube wrapped around them.
yeah, and even like the speak and spell. Just the display it had, same kind of
Doot,
thing.
doot,
I
doot.
loved that display, and it really got my mind racing. And then I ended up with a digital watch. You had to hit the button and make the display come up, and it
Yep. Well, that's kind
had
of
the
like
display
today,
just like that.
Craig. You roll your wrist up and the display comes up.
No, no, I mean it had the same kind of numbers.
Yeah.
The same kind of numbers, and it was a gold watch. And you hit the button, you see it. And I loved it. I love that look. But
My dad had a Casio that was similar to this. The display part was raised a little bit and tilted towards you, so it would lay flat on the desk, but you could still read it.
mhm,
And it took 3 AA batteries, which was a terrible number because you always came in packs of 4. It was the hot dogs and hot dog bun problem. So you're always losing a battery or had a few loose in the drawer, and you weren't sure if they were good or not. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I remember that. But that Casio calculator calculated many of my paychecks when I was a kid.
uh huh. I bet so. Hey, by the way, fact, elephants can hear with their feet.
Was that
I just
back
find
to
I find
the,
that
question of
100%
the week? Question of the week that's hard to
yeah, I find that
believe?
hard to believe. Yeah, I just
I can believe it because they communicate in infrasound, which is lower than humans can hear. In
mhm,
fact, when they speed it up, you hear like, so there, and that infrasound travels over long, long distances. So if it's rumbling the ground like a big bass speaker would do, I
mhm.
believe you could feel it.
Well, they did that on MythBusters. Remember they put the drum in the ground, and that they were using that to hear when armies came. That's what they were, because of the
Aha.
vibration. So yeah,
Uh-huh. Like the old glass to the wall.
yeah. All right, let's move along.
Let's thank our patrons then. Our patrons bring us this show. They're responsible for enabling us to pay just enabling us in general. We'll leave it at that. Thank you to Alexis Duran. Thank you, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Avner Braverman. Thank you, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris MC, Dan D. Man Coyer. Thank you very much, Tim Cook, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Shrawan, Kyle Nishioka, Leon. Thank you, Mark Kilfoyle, Matt Baum, Mike Wills, Chris Martinez. Thank you, Saturday Morning Media. Who would name their child with a middle name of Morning? I don't know.
Crazy parents.
Stephen Weshy, who was in town today, apparently, and I found out too late in an email.
Oh,
Steve Therian, Steve Cody, Steve London. Yeah, it
there you
would have been
go.
nice. I could have had him on the show, maybe.
That would have been pretty cool.
If you want to become a patron, visit our page. Craig's got the URL on the screen if you're watching. If you're not, listen closely. It's patreon.com/Technorama podcast. And if you've enjoyed this show for a month, a year, a lifetime,
2 minutes.
consider for as little as $1 a show,
Yeah.
you can keep us going. Just if one person, I feel like now I'm calling out the hungry kids in Africa. If
Yeah.
one person donated, we do about 35 shows a year. That one person donating $1 a show makes a huge difference in our budget. That can pay for like 2 months of hosting. That's pretty sweet. Or what is it? Month and a half of the video live streaming. There's a
Yes.
lot of good stuff that comes out of this. And
Yeah,
thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
All
We
right,
really
moving
appreciate
along,
it.
Sally Struthers.
Yeah. But somebody think of the children who are watching Technorama. We can bring them Technorama. Anyway, patreon.com/Technorama podcast. And forgot to mention the best part of all, they get their own special secret episode that is only available to our Patreon members. It is
That's
not
right.
a big polished production like this, if you call that
It's even
a polished
better.
production.
It's
It's
even
raw,
better.
behind the scenes, unedited footage straight from
Right.
the horse's mouth, or both horses, as you think of that.
All right.
Wow, we're
Oh, by the
burning up
way,
the song tonight.
hey,
Yes,
by the way, while we're here,
yes.
let's do a shout out to the chat room because we didn't do that.
Shout out to the chat room. Sweet
Yeah,
Steve
so-
London's online. Wow, he's up
Yeah, he-
late or up
No
early.
kidding. Early.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got coffee already, I'm sure. John Miller Jr. We have Mike Robeson. And of course, I saw your wife in there, Donna.
Craig Watson.
Craig Watson. Oh, I missed my cable. My cable's too short. That's what she said. Talking about my satellite
I
earlier.
wasn't going to say anything when you were. I was thinking it. Thank you,
Thanks,
Craig
Craig.
Watson.
Craig's an old high school friend.
Who else do we have?
And then Donna, and then I think that's
There we go.
about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Good,
StreamYard
good.
at the top. Hey, thanks, StreamYard.
That's the demo chat.
I know.
Live viewer
Steve
comments.
says it was early. It's
Live
early.
viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click your comment. We haven't used that yet.
That's right. All right. So
thank you. Insert your name here.
Yeah.
I got, every once in a while you get one of those emails that says, hello, dollar curly brace name.
I know. Yeah, insert name here. Yeah, that's right.
Someone's search and replace parameters broke again. Okay,
All
let's
right.
go
I
right
do want to
into
mention.
pass. Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's go to the pass remote. Go ahead and do it real quick. We're running short on time,
Okay.
I think.
Wrong one. Where does that music come from?
The heavens.
Okay.
All right. So
You
I
got a
know I've been
couple.
watching it. I know you've been watching
I
it.
haven't. I've been working.
Oh, you haven't seen it at all? Okay.
Oh, I saw Strange
tell
New
you
Worlds.
this.
I did see Strange New
Obviously-
Worlds. I was just
Okay.
joking. I haven't had.
Okay. So
I don't have
I'm-
my
I'm
usual
obviously
list of
not-
like 8 shows I've been working.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I do want to mention that we've been watching Star Trek: Strange New Worlds for our other show, especially Topic is Trek. But I've got to say, I've really been enjoying it. There's only 2 episodes. Third one comes out this week. I love the look. I love
Yes.
I think the casting is spot on.
I like how you went aesthetics, but couldn't say aesthetics. I like the look.
No, I'm sorry, I got a thing in my throat. But the aesthetics, anyway. So I love the bridge, the Enterprise, the way they make it look. It's brighter. It actually has that kind of hopeful look, kind of futuristic look. I love it. Like I said, the characters are great. It has a couple of issues, but overall, I think it's really fantastic. And if you're into Star Trek, especially the older Star Trek where it's episodic, this is going to be your Star Trek you want to check out. The first episode, if you don't have Paramount Plus, is on YouTube. You can go watch it for free. So there's no excuse. I also saw it. I pulled up Pluto TV and I had it on the Star Trek channel, and I wasn't even paying attention, and it went from TNG to Strange New World. So you can catch it there too if you really want to, but you can go watch it on demand on YouTube. I think it's fantastic. Ethan Peck and Anson Mount just nail it, and I'm embarrassed to say I can't
The
remember
whole
her
rest
name.
of the I'm warming up to. Yes.
Oh, I was going to say I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember her name. That plays Uhura, but she's nailing it as well. What are we
Yeah,
going to say?
we'll talk more about that on the show. The whole bridge cast, the first crew is really good.
Yes. And there's a YouTube guy I've been kind of watching the last couple of weeks, Kit Boga. He started scamming scammers, like the call center scammers.
Yes.
And he said he has this elaborate setup where he has a virtual machine. On the virtual machine is access to fake bank sites. Like it looks like Bank of America's website, or it looks like some other fake bank site. You can log in and do things, act like you're transferring money, but it's all fake. So he lets sometimes it's the call center scammer where they're wanting to do tech support, and he
Yeah.
lets them on the computer. They get in and they see the money sitting there, and they may try to get that from him.
So it's
Like,
almost like a honeypot, but it's not.
and and
I kind of picture one of those quarters epoxied to the cement.
yeah, oh yeah, that's pretty much it. So he gets on, and if they're doing the tech support, he'll show that they make the screen look like it's we're applying updates, like a big blue screen, like Windows updating updates, but it's not. They're actually working the bank account to pull the money out and do stuff like that. Then there's other scammers that want to get this old person. He pretends to be an old lady on the thing,
Yeah.
to get her to go buy gift cards and give them the codes. Uh, so he'll pretend, he'll string them along for hours. He'll tell you how long he takes them on a ride, like 10 hours, and he'll come up, okay, I got the gift cards, and I'm following the instructions. Wait, no. And he types in the codes into it's a fake Google Play site.
Yeah.
The codes are totally fake. He puts them in and it says, you redeemed your $500. Congratulations. No, you hear the people freak out on the other end because they put in so much time in this call to get the codes, and they can't, and they're watching them go back into their victim's account. It
I'm
is
sorry, but
hilarious.
I have better things to do for 10 hours than mess with scammers.
I don't know. He streams this on Twitch. He uploads it on YouTube, and he's got millions of followers. So he's making money. But the reason he's doing this, his main motivation was in 2017, he found out about how his grandmother got scammed, and he didn't
Sure.
like that at all. So he started turning it around, and that's where all this came from. So I understand where he came from. I understand that frustration. I hate those
Yeah.
people that do this because they're nothing but thieves and taking advantage of people's good nature. So that said, that's why I like him, and just to hear those people lose their minds when they see that they can't get the money, or they think they got the money and they didn't. So anyways, I suggest at least go check it out a little bit. It's informative to see how they work. He cuts them down. You don't have to watch the 10 hours. He has another channel where he makes the whole video available. But anyway, so it's cool to see. So anyway, in the Geek Library, I wanted to point out a couple of things. Speaking of ham radios, I think I mentioned. Did I mention that earlier? I don't
I
remember.
don't think you did.
I don't know. Maybe I was thinking of ham radios. Oh, ham sandwich. So anyway, ham radios. So there's a couple of pictures on one of my favorite.
Close.
Get close. I love this website, shorpy.com. They find, or people post found photographs. And sometimes they're just older photographs, I guess somebody had around, uh, and try to identify either the people or what they were doing in it. And here's a couple of them. One's from 1946 and one's from 1960. And they're ham radio setups. And I just thought it was interesting to see the technology you need to do this nowadays. You can do it on your computer with an antenna out of your window.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was really cool to see um, these setups and these people, the way they're. I love the way they're dressed. The guys working the ham radio in a full suit.
It's like, yeah, he's got this like wool tweed suit or something,
Yeah,
and he's got his hand in. Well, he's resting his arm on the elbow, but it's 1946. Hello, is this Argentina? I need a ride out of the country. He's
yeah.
like some Nazi trying to escape on his ham radio.
Hey, here's the description. From 1946 comes the sighting of a rare double-breasted ham, now believed to be extinct, in its natural woodsy habitat. The male distinctive can be heard. The male's distinctive call can be heard for miles.
From Columbus, Georgia, around 1960 comes this news archive photo of an amateur radio operator and his assistant, Shortwave Sally. 4x5-inch acetate negative, view full size.
This
The little girl sitting on the desk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
See, this
when
looks like
Daddy
something
used
you would have done with one of your girls. Sit them up on the desk like that.
early days of podcasting to the world.
Actually, he would be called out by some some group for putting his child in danger up on a desk nowadays, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you know how much radiation those old radios put off?
Ra-
Heated
Radiation
the
and
whole
like the
house.
gravity waves. My God, pulling
All
it
right,
down.
we are nearing the top of the hour. Thanks for sticking around for us. It's been a
Hey,
wonderful
by the
week.
way,
Yes.
did you know the shortest commercial flight in the world is just 57 seconds long?
What? You can't even, you wouldn't even be to the end of the runway by then.
The Logan Air flight between two Scottish islands of Westray and Papa Westray lasts just 57 seconds at a distance of 1.7 miles. It's the shortest commercial flight in the world. However, because this trip is made via two 8-seater planes, the exact time of the journey could take a little bit longer if there are strong winds. Long Air claims it takes less than a minute in favorable wind. That
It's much
is
quicker
yet
than the
another.
boat.
That's another 100% fact that's hard to believe.
Let's leave you with a question of the week, something to ponder while you're gone. Well, we're gone.
All right.
Actually, this is going to be the question of the next few weeks. What is a movie trope you are just sick and tired of?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, here we go. This ought to get it. Make sure you post it like this week so
I
that
don't
we
know
can get
why
a
it didn't go
couple
out.
weeks worth
I
of
swear I
mileage.
did it.
Yeah.
I swear I
Okay.
did.
That's all right. That's all right. So, movie trope you're sick and tired of. I can't wait to hear Joe and Gary on this one.
I am your father. Well, that only happened really one time, but
Time
it was so
travel.
big.
Time travel.
Time travel.
Killing vampires. Need we go on? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Whether you're joining live on the live stream, we do the show on Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, except Craig wasn't feeling well last night. So we're doing it Monday night at 9:30 Eastern. We're going to be
Thank
off
you
for
for
a couple
joining
of
us.
weeks.
Yeah.
We will talk to you again in early June when I get back from a couple of weeks abroad. Looking forward to, and I will probably have some stories from Australia. If you're listening from Australia, hope to see you down under. I'll be in Sydney on May 25th and 26th, and a few days around that. So if you don't get to the conference, maybe there's a chance we can see you elsewhere. So thank you, Craig. Oh, get in touch with us. Get that contact information up there. 707-530-2428 or email us technorama@chuckchat.com. Give me binary half five.
101. Hey, bonus question. What podcast tropes are you tired of?
Think about it, kids. That was the end. I hit it right after that. If anybody says
Did you get it?
101,
You got the question, right?
yeah, I got the question and my comment. But if anybody says 101, I'm coming after you.
Oh, wait. 101.
What trope are you?
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
There you go.
Any video that starts out with "Hi guys." Thanks, John. I have kept a scanner online for 15 minutes with just repeating. Please hold every few minutes. Oh man, he's on tech support hell.
Yeah. Yeah, go watch that guy. I'm telling you, I don't watch the whole things because some of those videos are like an hour and a half. But I'll jump in and just kind of skip around, and you can to watch the people. One guy lost his mind. He's watching him type in, no, don't do it, and he clicked redeem, and it says, "Congratulations, you redeemed your $500." Why did you redeem it? Why did you redeem it? The guy's like repeating himself. He's like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Because he thinks he's going to get this $1,500 worth of gift cards, and none of it's real. It's kind of funny.
All right, let's say goodbye to the viewers.
All right.
Bye, viewers.
Bye. Thank you.
Stay safe. Talk to you soon.